Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we have got some news with obviously the international break going. It's very quiet, it's very boring. Um, Realistically, to be honest, all right, I don't actually believe many people watch these games. Like, okay, there are some qualifier games going on. Um, but I feel like the Nations League is just boring and it's pointless. And look, there are gonna be some decent games. I think there's gonna be Belgium, France, and Germany, Netherlands. I think um, in the next couple of days. So look, there will be big games, but it's just not really, you know, I think people's cup of tea. Really, I think that okay, if this is like a big tournament, like the Euros, of course, a lot of attention will be to it, but you know, it's just the Nations League. So yeah, so we're gonna talk about the world of football as club football. First things first, um, really sad news last night about George Baldock, ex Sheffield United player, um, who sadly passed away. So rest in peace um, to him, and condolences with him and his family. Um, you know, it's a tragic thing to happen, and he's young. He's in his early 30s. He's just gone to Greece recently. I think this summer, wasn't it? So, yeah, really tragic news. A lot of people have been taken away in football this year, and it's really yeah, tragic and sad. So yeah, but let's move on to some transfer news surrounding Real Madrid. First up, this came in last night as well. This is coming in from Toby Outchef, I think, and Kristen Folk. Just in, Real Madrid are interested in Jonathan Tah and have spoken to his camp. Now look, I don't know if he is a free agent. In fact, I'm gonna check right now because I remember seeing rumors at the start of the season. He's not a free agent, but I'm pretty sure he's only got like 1 year left on his contract. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure um, he's only got 1 year left on his contract. So look, I've no idea why these links are suddenly coming out. He's still a Bayer Leverkusen player, so he's not going to leave now. He's not a free agent. He can't sign now. So look, I'm pretty sure these are just coming out from his side. I don't think there's anything genuine in this. And do I think this is a deal I'll be looking at? Look, Bayer Leverkusen had a very good season last year. That's proven. That is something that is justified. He had a good campaign as well. Yes. But I'm looking at Tah. He's 28 years old. If you bring him in next year, he's gonna be 29. So you're realistically only gonna have 2 to 3 good years out of him. I think he's in his prime. I think he's entering that age where he's in his prime. And realistically, you're probably only gonna get 2 years more of his prime. So would I be willing to bring him in, even as a rotational option? Obviously with Rudiger, Militao, Alaba as the main options. We failed on Lenny Euro. Jesus Vallejo should leave next year. He's not good enough. And Jacobo Ramon is still at the club. He's a youngster. He just picked up a muscle injury, if I'm not wrong, yesterday. So, but he's one for the future. So realistically, do we need to bring in a 28, 29-year-old on what would be, assume, big wages because he's coming towards the end of his career. He's probably gonna get his big paycheck before he retires. So realistically, would we give him 150k a week? I don't see it. And this project that Florentino Perez and the club have gone in the last few years have been about signing youngsters, and I just can't see it. I just can't see a 28, soon to be 29-year-old signing for Real Madrid. And if this is one of the best centre backs in the world, like Rudiger was, and look, Rudiger isn't even that old, but when we signed Rudiger, he was, he was in the same zone, 29 years old. So the difference here is Rudiger joined when he was arguably the best centre back in the world, one of the best centre backs in the world. He's won a Champions League with Chelsea, and he was just beast. With Tar, he's a good player. I don't think he's the best centre back or one of the best centre backs in the world. He's a decent player. He's a decent centre back, but I just can't see it. So I think this is just talks from the player's side and the player's camp, because I can't believe Real Madrid have spoken to his camp. Really, when he's still in contract, he's still a Bayer Leverkusen player. He might have his contract ending in the summer, next summer, but he's still under contract. So to talk to his player would mean either he's the best player in the world in his position, and you want to get this deal done, or for Real Madrid, he's a youngster that you want to get, before another big team get, and I don't think he's either. So, yep, there's that. Moving on, we have got news from Marca. Mbappé decided to have a mini pre-season during the international break to improve his fitness, as he doesn't feel he's meeting the expectations. And another one, this time from Mauro Ruiz. Players who stay in Madrid during the international break will have a 4 to 5 day rest. Kylian Mbappé will continue his individual work process in France. Look, there were a lot of articles and people, saying, and commenting about, Mbappé skipping international duties. Firstly, he wasn't even picked by Didier Deschamps. It's not as if he got caught up and he said he didn't want to go. He didn't even get caught up. Secondly, he's just come back from an injury, and of course, he's come back early, but it doesn't mean he's fully recovered yet. And let's be real, his form this season has not been at the standard and the level we would have wanted and would have expected when we brought him in August or July. Something tells me that he has to take more time to himself to adjust. Now look, of course, it's a team game. He has to train with his teammates in training and adjusting, but obviously basically everyone is back for international duties. So for him, I don't mind him taking the next 2 weeks, a week and a half now, to go out there and to train and do his own mini pre-season and to get himself back ready and fit, because Real Madrid right now are in a very weird position in terms of La Liga, behind Barcelona. Is it 3 points if I'm not wrong? So 3 points. Champions League, a defeat to Lille away, which means we're like 15th or whatever. Obviously it's only 2 games in, but if you watch the games, and even the games that Real Madrid do win, I don't think Mbappé has been at that level that you go, he is the best player in the world. He's not been convincing enough yet. So in terms of his season, lots of improvements needed from him and from his teammates, to work together, train together, understand each other. And he's only joined. It's been only 2 months. So I believe it will take some time, and it's good for him that he goes and have his own preseason and have his rest. And let's be real, the Nations League, the 2 games or whatever that you play, it's basically really, really pointless, as we say in the start of the video. So, just gonna leave it there. Now, moving on, lots to get into. Breaking: Raul will leave at the end of the season from Jose Felix Diaz. If you didn't know, he is the head coach of Real Madrid Castilla, and he will leave at the end of the season. Um, Breaking: Raul has 2 options for next season: joining Ancelotti's coaching staff with the main team, having a position of responsibility in the youth setup. It's an issue that will be addressed and finalized again from Jose Felix Diaz. Now look, let's not rule out the third option, which is just to leave the club completely and to maybe pursue a job somewhere, maybe in the second tier of La Liga or the Spanish division, maybe to go abroad, maybe Italy, second division side, or Germany. It could well happen. Obviously, Raul has played in Germany with Schalke before, so he could well go there, Schalke B team, something along those lines. He could leave. These are not his only 2 options. So I do expect him to leave. I don't expect him to join Ancelotti. And look, would he want to go from a coach to, a person in, the so-called board members responsible for the youth? I just can't see it. So I reckon he will leave for good. And all the best to Raul, whatever he does, because he's a legend. And it's a shame, really, because I think that, having the ex-Real Madrid player, if Raul somehow one day becomes Real Madrid first team head coach, you'll go, great, we had it with Zidane. This is an ex-Real Madrid player, a legend of the club, who is taking over. But it's just not the time. And if you look at it, we've got Ancelotti until 2026, and by then, I assume Xabi Alonso will be done and will be content with the job he's done at Bayer Leverkusen and would say, look, I'm going to leave. And I expect Real Madrid to go in with Xabi Alonso and say, look, we're going to offer you the job. Alonso might say, well, I will take it, takes the job, and he becomes the next manager for the next 5 years. And by then, you're looking at 2031, which is about 8 years from now. So it's just really tough to see Raul get a job as the head coach. So I do expect him to leave for good, leaving the club. But all the best. And who will replace him? Another Real Madrid legend. I highly regard Alvaro Arbeloa in that legendary status. Look, he was one of those players. It's like Coentrao, in those days, even Nacho. These sort of players who never really became starters, but when they were called upon, they were there. But breaking: Arbeloa will be Real Madrid Castilla's coach next season again from Jose Felix Diaz. Moving on. Jude Bellingham, ex Trent Alexander-Arnold, and also Transfermarkt. I just decided to bring this in. The final piece of news for today. Real Madrid are reportedly stepping up their interest in Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold, with England teammate Jude Bellingham rumored to be trying to convince him to make the move. If you watch a lot of clips on social media online, you would realize that the amount of times Jude and Trent are in those clips during international duties is starting to get a little more. I'm not sure if it's just fans trying to hype something up or something along those lines, but I do believe that Agent Jude is indeed on his way, as we've seen in the past with other players. Look, it's hard to talk about this because obviously it's not really been reported by a main source, and we've heard of this before. Real Madrid interested in Trent Bellingham doing the agent job, but we haven't had any more development in terms of that, so you can't really say much in terms of the player. Look, if you get Trent and you get a Davies, I mean, look at that team. Look at that team. Realistically, I believe that if everything goes right and everyone plays well, I'll be looking at another centre back, a young centre back, a right back, which could be Trent, but we'll move on later on to talk about this position. Alphonso Davies, which is probably the most likely. I can't see anyone else. Like Theo Hernandez, I can't see it. And realistically, if you sort out these three positions at the back, you've got Tchouaméni, Bellingham, Valverde, Camavinga in the midfield. Maybe you might want to get another midfielder in with Modric probably retiring. Dani Ceballos should be leaving. We got rid of Nico Paz. I think Mario Martinez out on loan, so when he comes back, hopefully he's more developed. And then in the attack, Arda Güler, Endrick, Mbappé, Vini, Rodrigo probably sort out there as well. So realistically, the defense is the big issue. But speaking of which, let's move on, because Trent is not the only right back that has been rumored. Now, this is coming out from Transferbank Germany. I have no idea what this is talking about. I'm pretty sure it's Daniel Carvajal, Real Madrid, season, and something to do with injury. So it's like a season injury, isn't it? But anyways, this is linking Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen. Imagine this, right? Xabi Alonso and Frimpong come together. Now look, I don't think Alonso will come in 2025, maybe 2026 actually, but who knows. Firstly, I want to know, who do you prefer? Before I get into that, let's continue, okay? Pedro Porro, correct full quotes on Real Madrid links. Of course, I'm proud with these links. It means I'm doing things well. If that happens one day, it happens. Now I'm fully focused on my clubs, Tottenham, Todd Relevo. Now let's go back here. Now, Pedro Porro has not been linked in terms of context, so you can include him in this conversation if you want. But who would you like the most out of Trent, Frimpong, and Pedro Porro? You could even say maybe Hakimi. I think the right back market is actually pretty decent. I think so. I think if Reece James gets back fit, which he hasn't been, he's a good option as well. So you're really looking at 5 top right backs on their day. When they're fit, when they're playing well, 5 really good options that Real Madrid have been linked to in the past and are being linked to. Who would you like? Okay, take away Reece James. Out of these 4, I think the best player, as a player, I would say is Trent. I think there is no doubt that Trent is a quality player. Question marks about his defensive work? Definitely. Who is the best at defending out of these 4? I mean, realistically, in the modern day world, not many fullbacks, are very good at defending and attacking, So I think these 4, apart from Reece James, who is very good at doing both, these 4 are more offensive wingbacks / fullbacks. Defensively, I do like the look of Porro, but I don't think as a player he's quite good enough in that caliber. So if I'm taking up James, I'm taking up Porro, I can't see Hakimi, and I'm left with these 2 again, which is Trent and Frimpong. I think obviously Frimpong is a very quick, rapid attacking, explosive wingback slash winger, and I do like Frimpong. But I think as a player, you probably have to say Trent is better. But let me know who you would prefer. If you ask me, I would like to see Alphonso Davies at left back and Jeremy Frimpong at right back. I just think if you can get that, and then you can get Rudiger, who is an absolute beast, and you can get Prime Militao. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but Militao fit, playing well, as your back four with Thibaut Courtois not injured, fit, in his prime, as the best keeper in the world. That back five is scary for any defense. With Tchouaméni, Bellingham, Valverde in front, come on. So I think that will be incredible. But moving on, last story of the day came yesterday. Jurgen Klopp joins the Red Bull Group as new global head of soccer. It's football, by the way, coordinating all the clubs including RB Leipzig, Salzburg, and more. Klopp will advise all the clubs on transfer/strategy from January 1st, 2025. I want to develop the incredible football talent that we have. Good for him, really. A lot of people say, I guess he said he had no energy in January of this year, and he drank a Red Bull and he had energy now. So yeah, really intrigued to see what he'll do with Leipzig. Not quite Leipzig, but obviously the Red Bull Group, which includes Leipzig, Salzburg, New York's. Who else do they have? I have no idea. I mean, realistically, they have got Brazil as well. So yeah, that will be very interesting. But let me know what thoughts are down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the button, subscribe to the channel on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.